Hi, Bijou. This is your most recent draft of the week 3 paper. I'm going to use this to create the video. So, very first thing, must have the thesis statement at the end of your introduction section. This paper will discuss the effects. I'm assuming here that you're looking at the effects of policies on democracies. So that's what I believe reading your introduction. I believe that's the thesis statement that you settled on. So I'm just going to color code your topic in yellow and your mediating effect in green to keep them separate. So here you did a great job introducing your topic and you introduced your mediating effect. Perfect. Now here, this is where it goes off just a little bit. So your evidence sentence is the only one that will have an citation. Citations are author last year. So if you have two authors, it's Crane, ampersand, not comma, Marshall, comma, year. So that is where your citation goes. Now, instead of all of this, you take what you wrote in your evidence sentence. You take this, that policies are strict or loose guidelines to, I think you mean loose here, loose guidelines to approach many different types of political and institutional problems that is rational, reasonable, and effective. So you take that, what you just said, and restate it. So given that policies allow an approach that is rational, feasible, and effective, so you're restating what you said in the evidence. That's all you're doing is just restating it at the beginning of the sentence for your analysis. Then comma, democracy. Now, how would democracy be transformed if policies allow an approach that is rational, feasible, and effective? Democracy would be stronger as a result of rational and effective policies that support the will of the people. Now you do the same thing in the last thought to create a conclusion. So clearly, and restate what you said in your evidence sentence. This is all you're doing is restating this. So clearly, as policies allow individuals to take a more feasible approach to policy making and rules outlining the process, democracy would be strengthened and promoted better than by policies that are not created in such a way. So all you're doing for the analysis and last thought are simply restating what you say in the evidence and then explaining how your topic would be transformed by it. So that is all that you're doing. So here, citizens shape public policy. Okay, I see a lot of stuff about policies, but I don't see, here's democracy way down here. So democracy. So it's not about citizens. It's about policies' effect on democracy as it relates to citizens shaping public policy. These are not great headings. So these should be outcomes of public policies. So what do public policies do? Voting, public policies around voting rights, those are made. You have different types of election laws. There's all kinds of different policies that directly affect elections and democracy. But see, citizens, no, it's not about citizens. It's always about democracy. So democracy is based on citizens voting for the people who will represent them in state and local elections by voting on policies, candidates, and special issues to what they want to see in their communities. Then public policies are created to serve the majority of people, blah, 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 perfect. This is where the citation is. Crane, ampersand, Marshall, comma, 2003. Then here you simply restate what you said in your evidence. So here I'm going to say, given that policies are generally created in order to meet the will of the majority, democracy is strengthened by public voices on important matters to ensure that elected officials do what is wanted by the majority. And now you restate what you said in the evidence again, explaining the overall conclusion. So clearly, as policies are those rules and regulations that are important to citizens and the majority of them. Democracy literally depends on citizens shaping the policies they want to see. So that is how you write a research paper. So you are writing 2 sentences. You write your main idea about your topic. The topic never changes. It is democracy every time, not citizens in a democracy, democracy. And then it's policies every time. Then you only restate what you say in the evidence in the first half of the sentence, and then discuss how democracy will look if it's transformed by public policies. And then you restate it again in the first part of the sentence in your last thought to explain the overall conclusion about how it's affecting democracy. So your papers are not about democracy or policies. It's about the effects. That's what you're writing about. So all of this stuff, like right here, talks about democracy and democracy, but I don't see anything about public policies. I see something right here, but that is, and right here, and right here, but these are the objects of the sentences, not the subjects of the sentences. So it's very important that your main idea focuses only on the topic, the evidence focus only on the mediating effect with the source cited, and then the analysis and last thought written as given that mediating effect does X, democracy will see Y. Clearly, as policies do X, democracy would see Y. And so now just going down here, okay, this is not, I do not know what this is because there's no source information. None of this looks right. So I don't know what type of source this is. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it is not an academic journal article. It does not look like it would be, but I need to see source information. Source information for a book, it is a publisher. For an academic journal article, it is journal title, volume number, issue number, page, range, DOI number, or URL. And for websites, it's the URL. So here, this is not a URL. This is School of Public Administration. It's not a journal title. The title's not formatted correctly. The names aren't formatted correctly. So the citations need work. I need to be able to know what type of source you are using so that I can determine whether or not it is appropriate. So it's very important that citations be formatted correctly. There are a number of sources in the course materials that will help you. So I do need to see a lot better citations. Okay, so I believe this will help. If not, please let me know if you do have any other time available, and we will get together and go over this together.